And welcome back to Idiots with Microphones, episode 7.
And today's episode is brought to you by FNX Fitness for all your gym wear and supplement needs. Make sure you check out the link in the description.
You can use code IWM15 for 15% off at checkout.
So, as you guys will have noticed, there's been about a 3-week break in our uploads. Right after we come out with a how-to talking about being consistent, we fall off the face of the earth for 3 weeks. But, Sam could take away what we were doing and obviously why we've not.
No, yeah, of course. It's not as simple as we just disappeared, as you said. We were hoping, obviously, not to use Zoom again to film podcasts as the weather was so nice. And now that the restrictions allowed us to meet up with one other person, we were hoping to film in an open space, but due to the weather changing quite so rapidly over the past couple of days, that doesn't look so likely. But
yeah, 100%. I think we sort of had a break. We took a step away from our podcast and we thought doing it on Zoom's great. It was a great way to start, but we wanted to sort of improve. We wanted to do it in person. We wanted to take that next step into making this something that we can take long term. We were working on a sponsor, which you will saw at the start of the video. We're working on some guests for the future. We were working on just a few ideas that we wanted to have. That's where we've opened up an email address. We can send any of your ideas to, and we'll leave that link in the description as well. So anything you've got, anything you want to say to us, anything you want to ask us, then just send it all there and we'll make sure we cover it and actually send a response as well. But as Sam said, it was mainly down to the weather. We were in the final few steps and usual English weather took its toll and it started raining. It's not really stopped since, so there was not much we can do. So here we are back on Zoom, hopefully for the last time.
So, a lot has happened since we've been gone anyway. A lot I talked about. Mm-hmm. More than the usual.
Yeah, 100%, man. Absolutely crazy past few weeks since we've been gone. So you got lined up for us today.
Where to begin, isn't it, with what's been going on?
It is crazy.
Obviously, the tragic passing of George Floyd. Mm-hmm. I mean,
yeah, in its own way.
You can't not talk about it, can you?
Yeah, you've got just super respectful of something like this that happened. It's a shock. It's mind blowing that this is even still a thing, and this is still the way the US operates in a way. You said something before about being stuck in 2020 and like the US being stuck in like the 1920s still. You know what I mean? Like the way they go about things, and especially the police forces, it's crazy. It's crazy.
This is really, though, I feel like since this has happened anyway, the amount of stuff, well, it's only been a week or two, mm-hmm. and the amount of like individual incidents which are like bad on their own level.
Yeah.
Just them have come out in those few days. So what's been going on for the past however long, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, however many years that this has been the case. It's crazy how it's taken such a big event to shine so much light on the darkness that was everything going on behind the scenes and everything that happens and all these other things and all these other incidents. As I said, it is a bit unbelievable, to be fair. But I mean,
so for starters, I'd probably say, what do you think when you've seen the video of
the George Floyd video?
Chauvin, yes.
It was not nice to watch for one.
No.
Part of it was more of like a what's going on here, you know, like so it's like a normal pullover and stuff like that. But then once he got pulled to the ground, everything like, whoa, it's a bit extreme. And then the very end when he's calling out for his mum as well, that was like almost hard. It was hard to take. It was like, come on, man, like this guy has done nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like how it sort of really gets in my head.
The thing that annoys me as well is if that happened in England and someone was literally dying because there was people there saying to the police,
stop.
Like, if that happened in England, someone could just go and push the police off him.
I know, because
without being worried about being shot dead. Whereas the sad part about it is, you don't know what would have happened if you could have intervened. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Especially with his track record anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy how. Not sort of what are the chances, but it's crazy how it is the same person again who's come around with another big scandal. It's not it's like a very, not a minute group of officers, but it's sort of the same officers that go around and instilling and keeping up this sort of like racial abuse and racial profiling within the States. And I didn't know that before this came out, and obviously you read around there and you find out who was the cause of other cases and things like that. And it's as we keep saying, unbelievable to actually think that one man is just abusing his power to such an extent.
I know. That's the thing. I don't know. I forgot the exact number of how many previous like racially motivated incidents he'd had, but I'm sure it was in the teens. So how is he still? How is he still in the job? I know. It's
been bred into it, hasn't it? You know, like it is a system where that exists. So
well, I saw one person saying like the problem with like American police is like, you know, it's like the blue family or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like they're so loyal
to the badge on the arm
to an extent where like someone's sitting on someone's neck behind you and you're not doing anything to stop him.
I know, and you're on your boy's side because he has that badge and he's part of that
part
of that blue family. But that's not it. I mean, you've seen a lot of other officers who you would say are still good officers and part of that blue family who have come out and said, "No, I do not support that. I'm here to help all the protesters."
That's the sad thing as well. I can't imagine. It must be a bad time to be a police officer in America.
It must be terrifying for both parties.
If you're a good person, you're still getting painted with that same brush.
Exactly.
The thing, it seems like everyone knows that this is going on, but no one's had the sort of the balls to speak up against it in a way. Do you know what I mean?
It's been such like, and if someone did speak up, then they got shut down so quick. But now it's got so big that it's not possible to stop this being shut down. Now this is such a big thing that it's literally taken over.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like other ones, people do say like, "Oh, well, what was he doing before it?" And you don't know what happened before the video started and stuff. But this one, there's that much concrete evidence
from start to finish.
From the restaurants around where it happened, where they're showing that he wasn't doing anything.
I know.
He wasn't resisting arrest. He wasn't doing anything. And then the photos from the other angle, where he's got 3 officers on his back, as well as someone on his neck. And then when they're saying, "Oh, just get up and get in the car."
Yeah, go on, just get up. You can't win. I always win. You know what I mean? That he must have been aware that he was about to commit a murder. If that's the kind of thing you're saying, do you know what I mean? You can't say I always win. It isn't about winning or losing in the police force. It's about serving the justice system. It's about creating safety for the people that you're supposed to create safety for. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's a vocation sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't join the police force if you're not all in. If you're not all in to help the normal people that are around the world, but they're only there to help the people that pay the wages. You know what I mean?
There's obviously a crack in the system though somewhere for people like that with such a bad history to still be out. I mean, patrolling the streets.
Of course, you look at the actual president of the United States, mate. He is straight up racist. But not even like hiding it, not even like, oh, like he tries to be nice. Like my guy straight up is fully racist and he got voted in. That just shows you like the kind of culture that is America. It is a democratic country, but yet they still vote in racism. Do you know what I'm saying? They vote it in. It's not like he was like a Putin or something like that. You know what I mean? He's straight up.
Shame.
People wanted him to run the country like this. This is what people actually chose for their lives in America. Insane.
I think it's similar to Boris Johnson. I think the job's too big for these people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
They don't understand what comes with being the president.
Because obviously Trump being president was already a gimmick. And then, well, what he said about bloody disinfectants, drinking disinfectants and stuff like that.
Like injecting it.
That highlighted how inept he is. Do you know what I mean?
The job that he's in.
Because it's like one of the most powerful roles in the world.
It is probably the most powerful role in the world, to be fair.
Yeah, probably.
And he's telling people to literally murder themselves with bleach. What?
Did you see what happened to his tweet on Twitter? about the protests.
Not any specific one.
He finished the tweet saying, "When the looting starts, the shooting starts," and then Twitter hid the tweet, sort of thing. Like sometimes on Twitter, like it says like warning, this tweet contains like sensitive
guidelines and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can still click to view it, and they did that because it was said it was inciting violence
from the president of the United States.
And that quote was directly from like someone in like the other race riots from like 100 years ago.
It's so bad, isn't it? It's so bad. And it's also, what makes this worse is there is the peaceful protesting, and then there's the riots and the stealing and the looting.
I know.
From
it's a shame.
Yeah, from a lot of people
that is only adding fuel to the fire of people that are already against it. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like if you at first, when it was for people's protest, that's how you're going to change minds. But as soon as you're seeing the looting and stuff like that,
violence, it's just not where it's at.
I seen one person say it's quite ironic that like Nike have always stood with like Black Lives Matter movement. Yeah. Like since the Colin Kaepernick thing, yet they were still getting looted.
Yeah, because it isn't the people that want to actually do the protesting about all of the Black Lives Matter. It's other people basically saying, "All right, well, I'm going to take advantage of these thousands of people in the streets and just fuck up smaller businesses and just take what isn't mine." And as you said, it's tarring all of the peaceful protesters with the same brush as well. So, I mean, you showed me that video before where it's actually like heads going around trying to cause violence, and most of them are white, trying to give these kind of protests a bad name on purpose. You know what I'm saying? That is their goal, going out there and actually trying to actively shut down all the protests and create violence from the police. And create all these things that are going on.
Definitely. Because obviously the first few days after it, but that's the thing, even in the peaceful protests, like it just highlighted how much of a problem America has, because you were seeing people, like there was this one video I saw where there was this family with like guns or whatever that were protecting their store. Mm-hmm. And then these looters tried to came and rob the store. So obviously, and then there was police cars going past to like get towards like, I don't know, protests or whatever.
Yeah.
So then they try and like flag down a police car. So they stop a police car, and then the police get out and they start arresting the shop owners.
Boom.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
and like, how many times have you seen videos like that this week or last week where even cars going through the cities where there was protests, they were just stopping the cars and arresting the people in the cars?
Yeah, just straight up anyone. And loads where like heads are doing like a peaceful protest and they just bam straight through an SUV, run over 4 people.
Exactly.
And they're just not bothered. Like I saw one where like horses was just trampling people and that. It's like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? These people are peacefully protesting, which is a right, a human right. And you're literally out here tapering, shooting, running over.
It's just a shame because I'd say, well, did you see the videos from London the other day?
Yeah.
Like, you can't really complain. Like, how can you fight? How can you say about police brutality and then just start throwing stuff at people for no reason?
And like abusing other actual police officers that haven't done
exactly.
It. Like you can do a peaceful protest, you can film a police officer, you can hold up your signs, you can march wherever you want. But if you're starting it with the police officer,
exactly,
what is he gonna do? Just like accept getting beaten the shit out of? Obviously not.
See, I think it was always a recipe for a disaster in London because, I mean, just over the past few years, you're already seeing how badly London's fallen into like you see crime in London,
right?
And the rest of the country it's shock, compared to what goes on in London in a day. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And there's all little villages and everywhere else.
So if you're then giving people an avenue to just go and throw bottles at the police, those people are automatically going to filter into that. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's coronavirus. There's nothing to do anyway. So these people that literally have nothing better to do in their lives that would be going around
starting
stabbing
violence anyway.
people or whatever. If you can just get in a big crowd, throw stuff at police with no consequences, then
obviously
what
you're
do you
gonna
expect?
do
Do you
it.
know what I mean?
Yeah, if that's your sort of,
Which is a shame because
mentality.
it obviously is ruining the message.
That's what it is.
What
It's like
the whole thing started.
it's like a 70-30 split for me. It's like this has stemmed from racial abuse, racial segregation, and all of these kind of things. But at the same time, it goes both ways. People are now not sort
Well,
of
that's the thing.
giving
In
respect
America,
back to the police.
when you see in all these videos of like what the police were still doing after to these protests and whatever, then if people were attacking the police, fine. But I'm still yet to see a video of in these protests in London, people getting really mistreated by the police.
Yeah, I've not seen too much of it. To
You're
be
not
fair.
seeing people like that old man in America that got knocked up. He was giving one of the riot police the helmets back, and he literally just gets pushed over.
Yeah, he comes over and smashes it, and he's bleeding from his ear. Is that the one?
He's still in hospital now. Yeah.
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 You see what I mean? That is complete.
And then they said he tripped and fell. That's how they described it. And the whole world has seen that video, and they still had the audacity to say he tripped and fell. So that's what rubs me up the wrong way a bit. Is back. Sorry for that minor technical difficulty. No, what I was trying to say is you see in these like the levels of police brutality just in the past couple of days since the George Floyd situation, just with what they've been doing to protesters, i.e. that person getting pushed over when he was giving back them the helmet or whatever. So what sort of rubbed me up the wrong way was when you saw the videos in London of like people like throwing bikes, bottles, everything towards us. Yeah. I'm still yet to see a video of anything like what the police did in America. Do you know what I mean? To
in the
bring
UK.
on that. It just seemed like, oh well, we can just fucking do it
because they're doing it over there. Let's just start doing it over here. It was weird.
Whereas, weird. Yes, I know there's probably still
racial segregation.
There's still a lot of racism in the UK, but there was just no excuse for that, was there?
Yeah, so what you're trying to say is like, of course there is a problem. Like I saw a video the other day where those three lads, two of them were black, one of them was white, and the two black lads got put in handcuffs, and the white lad was just waiting there. He didn't get put. He was still stood next to the police, of course, but he wasn't put in handcuffs. That's just strictly, that is seeing someone who's black and arresting them, seeing someone who's white and straight up not. That is racist. However, what you're saying is that there was no like instigation over here. There was no things going on that should warrant that. Go out and do your peaceful protest for your campaigns. That's fine, but we don't need to start doing the riots and that because we're not.
Because there was no tear gassing. There was no water hosing. There wasn't.
We're not seeing the same levels that they're seeing over there. So why do we need to reproduce the same levels of riots and chaos that they're doing over there?
Exactly.
It isn't just right.
Defeating the
purpose of the protest in the first place. How are you going to have a successful protest and create a more peaceful environment and it's just better for everyone when people are going out and launching bottles at the police? That's going to make them more on edge. It's going to make them worse. And what I was going to say is it's a small group of both parties that are ruining it. So a large part of the police force now are getting onto the fact that this can't run and they don't want to see this in their former departments, and they will be like outing any officers who take part in this. And then there's the other people who are doing the protests who have made them aware of that, and then both of them sort of communities are working together. But then it's the people who are taking advantage of the protests, and then the officers that don't want to listen and don't want to change.
Exactly.
That's spoiling it.
And if you're there in London and you're protesting, you're trying to change those police officers' minds. So you're just going to start throwing bottles at them and stuff.
I know that's going to make them never change their mind.
Exactly.
Ever. Like, this guy threw a bottle at me. Why should I ever forgive this?
Well, America just everyone knows America's not perfect, but when obviously they did that autopsy on George Floyd and they said he died of underlying health conditions.
Did they?
Yeah, they didn't even say he died of asphyxiation.
Wow.
Whereas the family had to get an independent autopsy done, which did say he died of asphyxiation or whatever. So like, how is that? How are you that corrupt Do you know what I mean?
That's what. Yeah, that is insane. I didn't know that.
And everyone says like, oh, when Epstein died, everyone was like, well, it's obvious that they just killed Epstein.
Mm-hmm. But and then he was like, nah. And
it's obvious that. So if they just denied that he died from asphyxiation,
when it's on
one of the biggest.
I'd say
slam dunks.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like.
Yeah. It's
obvious what just happened because you've watched him kneel on his neck for 9 minutes. If you're gonna say then, if you're gonna diddle the autopsy report then what's happening week to week
on everything else that you don't want to
be
told about? Exactly. Yeah, that
isn't going all over the world.
That's a huge point, because how could they even attempt? How could you attempt to cover that up? People would just be like, "Oh, it's not me. I saw it occur." You know what I'm saying? Millions of people have seen this man die on camera. Sorry, just a little bit of a second technical difficulty. We're back in the game now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, thankfully now, well, that's the thing now. After all this worldwide protest, these officers have been arrested or whatever for murder.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the officers that just stood around doing nothing, they've also been arrested. But this is one situation that's had worldwide recognition, whereas this stuff has been happening every week
for years and years and years.
For years.
Yeah. And it's taken.
And if it's not getting national recognition, they're not gonna get arrested.
They only do things when the hand is
still. It's still. They still only got fired at first.
I know, they still didn't want to charge them.
Exactly.
How?
So hopefully this just changes the way it all works.
I think personally this is going to be one of the biggest moments in sort of human history in terms of racism. I've never seen this kind of
that's what I'm saying about in terms of when you see other videos and people say, oh, well, what happened before was you resisting arrest, yada, yada, yada. This one was a slam dunk in terms of there was no reason.
He did everything exactly how he should have done it.
Even till when he was dying, he was still calling them officer. Like, he still didn't disrespect them or whatever. Till
he didn't try and get up. He didn't try and do anything.
Exactly.
Because if he tried to get up, he would have just got shot anyway.
It's just heartbreaking stuff, really, isn't it?
It is. But as I said, I think this is the changing point in the whole world, because I think this is really where there's a massive line between two different generations of people, between the kind of officers that have existed and ran America and ran the corporate system for years and years and years, and how they work and how their minds are at, between the youth, between the people.
That's what I mean. Yeah, the younger generation has a different mindset about everything.
And now everyone is just like if you take a step back, there is obviously the slave trade hundreds of years ago, and things like that. But if you look at it now, like, people are only just realizing it. What is the difference? If I was purple, what does it, if I was the same color as this logo behind me, what is the problem? It doesn't. We're all the same. We're all made up of DNA. We're all made up of chromosomes. We're all the same fucking shit. I just don't get it. And I think it's finally sort of being put into people's minds, like, stop it. There is no need for this, like, oppression of anyone for any reason at all, ever. It's just pointless.
What was your thoughts on the I don't know if you've seen it yesterday, that slave traders statue in Bristol getting
I think it's
down.
Fucking perfect. Why is it?
It's powerful. I think it's powerful, mate.
Mm-hmm. Why would someone?
He's got a statue because he also, like, with his money, he did a lot of good for Bristol, but still,
it's like dirty money, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't want your dirty money, and I'm not asked what you did for Bristol. Fuck off.
I know.
Sort of just that's not what we want.
And considering those were the very docks where he brought slaves from Africa, I think it was 100,000 or whatever. I think 19,000 died on the way.
That's ridiculous.
From Africa or whatever.
That is ridiculous.
It was quite and obviously think of how many people, like, will have been, like, raped by the slave owners and stuff like that. Just as a result of that guy.
It isn't just it isn't just the movement of people. It isn't just the thing. It's the overall everything that is incorporated within that horrible trade that was around hundreds of years ago. It was literally horrible. That I can't even explain. Like,
that although he did good things with his money, it doesn't at all excuse
where it came from.
There's no way he should have a statue. And that's the thing. Like, that him being took down and thrown into that very dock, I think that'll be looked back on.
As I said, this year
overall,
this year, such a pivotal moment. It's
crazy how it's like 2020 is one of the craziest years ever.
All the memes and stuff as well, where it's like, oh, Dad, like, what were you doing back in 2020? It's like loads of shit going on. But it's true, though. It's like, this year has been more than... I have never been alive for something this mad, bro. Shit is going on 24/7.
The Australian fires were at the start of this year. Do you remember that?
Mate, cool.
When that was actually...
left us this year. Do you know?
I know.
And it's... boom. It's not even...
How has that many things happened and we're only in, like, June? We're not even halfway through the year yet.
Have you seen the meme where it's like April, where it's like Jan, Feb, March, and it goes through all the months? Like, obviously, what's going to come, and it's like end of December, like a fucking asteroid just hits the Earth, and it's just game over. It's so true, though. Like, that's the only thing that would top off this year, like fucking meteor shower. Unbelievable.
Even with this, like, Madeleine McCann stuff, like, even why is that coming out this year?
Again, like, I've waited my whole life to find out why.
How have they basically solved that case this year?
In probably as we said,
like, what's next? Literally, what's next?
I can't wait to find out what's next. Fucking hell, be flying cars. Like, yeah, by the way, we have this out and the bomb flying cars everywhere.
Yeah.
Or some crazy shit. But as you said, like, with the Madeleine stuff, I thought that was it. I thought that was going to be one of them unsolved murder mysteries forever, you know what I mean? And finally, we have some knowledge. Like, there is public knowledge that was...
They're going off the basis that she is dead, aren't they? So I think she definitely is.
Personally, I don't see how she could possibly be alive. But there's a lot of... I'm not sure what they're called. Is it Franz something? Like the guy who kept birds in his basement for like 30 years. What's his name?
Joseph Fritzl.
Yeah, Joseph Fritzl. So it could be one of them vibes, you know what I'm saying? She could come out and be like
I feel the level of the manhunt for Madeleine McCann... Well, that's the thing. She's not going to be the same now. You can put her pictures into a computer and they can try and predict what she'll look like, but there's no way of actually knowing what she looks like.
She could have a
and if she doesn't know she is Madeleine McCann, then it's never going to ever
be solved.
Like, do you know what I mean?
That's a great point that you've just said. What happens if she doesn't even know that she is Madeleine McCann?
Exactly.
You know I'm saying? She could be called Sarah Coombs. You know what I'm saying? She's got no idea that her real name. Wow, yeah, that's. I mean, I've never really thought about that, to be fair. But if I'm being honest, I always thought it was the parents. I can't lie. That was it was the only thing that made sense. And now I sort of feel bad that they've been getting hate for like 12 years when it was some German guy.
But you don't know, dear. You just don't know.
I know. I mean, they could have been like in contact with the German guy. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, it's deeper until someone gets sort of sentenced or there's a trial or something happens, then we'll never really know the true story. I mean, even then, we'll still never know exactly what happened. But, I mean, would you leave your kids in a hotel room and go out?
No.
I wouldn't.
No.
It's just not clever, is it? Like, think about that one night, how much fun they had on that night to have their whole life ruined because they've lost a daughter.
Exactly.
Or just go bed at 9 o'clock and have a good holiday. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Completely ridiculous.
Oh, they could have took the kids.
I know. Mate, people have kids and then don't want to deal with them.
Exactly.
I know, and then do stuff.
That's why you need to realise, like, when you're having kids, that you actually want kids.
That is a choice for
like
life.
You're ready for kids.
Man. Yeah, man.
Because then until you're like, I suppose,
forever,
isn't it? Really.
Once it's out, you can't put it back.
Because I was going to say till they're old enough to look after themselves, but still, then you're still your kids, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
I know, it's still someone you love. It's still, and even then, how many times, even when you get older, do you ask your mum for something, or ask your parents for something, or ask your guardian or whatever? Do you know what I mean? So, again, our third technical difficulty on my end again.
hopefully this offers some understanding in why we wanted to film the podcast in person rather than Zoom.
Yeah. Favorite topics of football?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, man. Definitely.
seems to be heading right back to normality, doesn't it?
I can't wait. Yes.
How good's it gonna be though? That's the thing.
Oh, mate, it's not good enough time all the time.
Because seeing this, you're lagging like fuck.
Oh, did I just lag loads then?
Yeah.
Am I back in the game now though?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying it's just going to be unbelievable, and I think even if it's shite, I can't wait. I can't wait to watch Newcastle Brighton. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyone?
Yeah.
Just give me a game of footy.
I know.
Especially when the first game back is Arsenal City as well. That's actually a fucking decent game on top of that.
It's actually quite important for Everton anyway. So, because if City lose that, then they can win it at Goodison, which won't be as bad because no one will be there. But
yeah, it would have been worse if it was full of fucking Liverpool fans, like 5,000 Liverpool fans in the corner going mad.
Well, people were selling the tickets like $1,000 to Liverpool fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose it's quite wise, to be fair. I wouldn't really want to go and see.
But then the only downside to that is, imagine being there and you just stop Liverpool winning the league
and Everton win.
Oh, like that'd be worth $1,000 just to be there. Do you know what I mean? To see all those Liverpool fans walking out the stadium.
It would only be good if it came down to that game as well, really, though, because we've got another 9 then to win just like one game. Do you know what I mean?
Imagine if he's actually choked this.
If we choke this league, I'm straight up not interested in football, man. I can't be dealing with it. Not deal with us losing it. I would.
Who's you got to play? Who's your fixtures? You know? Or?
I don't think we've got too many hard games left, to be fair.
No, that's the problem, isn't it?
I think we've got City again, but we have 9 games, and basically we've got to win 2 of them to win the league. Even if we draw, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. So
it's really not. We're like 25 points ahead, and that's if every other team doesn't lose as well. Do you know what I mean? Like if Man City lose twice, we win, even if we lose all 9.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, for me, my main focus is on next season. Next season coming back, fans, new players, better teams, more fun.
No one will ever take it for granted again, either, will they?
No. They'll do everything they can.
Isn't it mad though how like the football season would be way finished by now?
We would almost be in the transfer window.
That's what I mean.
I know. That's what's crazy. Talking about transfer window, you heard about the recent transfer news.
Timo Werner.
Scary.
Seems like your owners are a bit tight ass.
I know.
That's what everyone's saying.
It basically is. It's like we're just cheapskating the shit out of it because we've already got a good team. It's like, fuck it, we're not fucking buying anyone. But it is annoying because I would have loved to have fucking him up front. He's so clinical.
You can't just do what you're doing though.
What do you mean?
Like the way to like do a Man United and like build like a supremacy for years and years and years. Mm-hmm. You can't just sit with it you got.
No, you've got to
keep building on top of it.
But in all fairness, we splashed out on Alisson, we splashed out on Van Dijk, but they were like needed because our defense.
Because you had like Lovren and Karius, who probably cost you that league the year before, and the Champions League.
I was gonna say, and the fucking Champions League as well. Idiots. But yeah, obviously we needed to make them improvements. But I don't know. I just think we need to get rid of fucking Salah as well. Before his value tanks. Do you know what I mean? Right now he's worth a lot of money, but in 3-4 seasons,
he's not going to want to go though, is he? Unless Real Madrid or Barca come in, he's not going to want to go.
No, he isn't really, is he? But I mean, it's not really his choice if his contract runs out.
But then if his contract runs out, he'll go on a free. So,
but nah, yeah, I know what you're saying. Werner said that he didn't want to come as well because we already had 3 world-class strikers. They were his words. So he said, Werner. He said that he.
No, who's your 3 world-class strikers?
Mane, Salah, and Firmino. 2 of them are.
Yeah.
Not
Firmino is. Spends too much time playing bowling, doesn't he? With
the Super Bowl, lad.
With the Super Bowl.
Why is he there all the time, by the way? It's fucking funny that. Yeah, so we have a bowling alley round our ways, round our town.
Yeah.
And that's where a Bobby Firmino goes to play bowling. I could only assume it's because we're a small town and there's not a lot of people here, so he doesn't get crowded and stuff. Obviously, when he does go, you'll see all of our friends or anyone who's there loads of photos with him, like, oh, so fucking Bobby Firmino with the bowling alley. He's wearing like his fully rigged out fucking Louis Vuitton tracksuit, and they're in the fucking Asda George fucking polo top. It's like, what a combination of people. Oh, brilliant. It is funny, though. It's class.
We're linked with... See, there's a few players we're linked with. Because obviously we lost Gay, didn't we? Yeah. Well, do you know what the most Everton thing is?
Gay. Go on.
We sold Gay and replaced him with Jean-Philippe Gambammin. And he got injured, didn't he? And now he's just come back from injury, got injured again. And now we're signing Gay back. And people are saying that's the most Everton thing ever to happen.
Yeah, it is. You actually do that all the time. I was actually thinking the other day about Everton teams that have gone, and you've had some really good players, you know, man, and just never did anything.
We never replaced Lukaku.
Mate, Saha.
If we had Lukaku, you know. No, mate. This the thing. If you actually think back on like Lukaku for us, you forget how good he actually was.
That was the best Lukaku that there's ever been, in my opinion.
You know what I mean?
He was a fucking monster. People were actually scared of Lukaku.
I know.
And then he left and just... I mean, he weren't bad, but just never really lived up to what he could have been at Everton. But it's only because the Everton club couldn't give him what he wanted in his life. You know what I'm saying?
I know, it's... But that's the thing, like, he was always looking for a transfer, whereas, like, the thing is with Richarlison, like, he's not.
I know, he's actually pretty...
That's the weird thing, like, he's, like, he wants... That like that's the good thing, and like Calvert-Lewin says the same thing. Like he wants to win things with Everton.
He wants to grow Everton. He wants to build
that's
Everton
what
brand
I mean.
Because it gives them a chance to sort of be like a one club player, be a team player.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you go to like a big club like Barca, Real, Man United, Chelsea, you just fall into a group of other elite players, and you can't really build your own team around you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get a club like Everton or like like a Wolves that have done really well, or like a Sheffield United that have done really well.
Well, even your Liverpool team, you had no right to really be boss in the league.
No, nowhere near, mate.
But it's just if you get that right team, like you signed Sane from bloody Southampton. Not Sane, Mane from Southampton.
I was going to say Sane. I'll have that.
And then even when you signed Salah, he was like proven to be like meh.
Yeah, he was like...
At that point in his career, he'd been to...
He has some skills,
he was at Chelsea,
some speed.
been to Roma, and then...
Now he's fucking...
You know what I mean?
It's... I don't get it. Our team's really based around, like, the culture, I think, and, like, the way we play more than, like, the talent we have. Obviously, we have some talent, but no one's world-class. Andy Robbo, we got him from Hull for, like, nothing.
I know, yeah.
Now he's world-class. I mean, Jordan Henderson was shit a few years ago. And now he's the team leader. Do you know what I mean? Doing everything. It is crazy, but
just you got. It's not just about. It was proven when Leicester won the league. It's not about having a team of superstars. It's about if everyone on that team wants to put in 110% every week, you're gonna win things. Do you know what I mean?
That's all it is, isn't it? Personal belief and just like. A dedication to just succeed. Some of these bigger clubs.
Imagine how good it must have been in that Leicester changing room when they were on that run of just like, oh, shit, we can actually win the league.
That must have been scary for them as well.
And Vardy's there just breaking the goal scoring records of how many consecutive games.
Just like a bang average.
That's the thing. That season, some of the goals Vardy was scoring. That just shows what confidence can do to you. Like that was it against Liverpool, which was the one where he just like kicked it from like the touch line on the half,
and it just went
straight in.
That year, I mean, even since then, really, he's been like in the conversation for really good Premier League strikers.
That's what I mean.
And I think you really touched on it a lot. It's all confidence. Vardy is confident in himself now. Now he's set a few records. Now he's won a league. Now he's done what he's done. He's like, yeah, I'm confident in my ability. So when he's one-on-one, he's not thinking shit. He's thinking, I'm fucking nailing this. So that's what it comes down to. And then it goes the other way as well. So if you've not scored for a while, then you get one-on-one with the keeper, then you fucking bottle it.
That's like Firmino now.
Yeah, exactly.
He can't hit a fucking barn door recently.
Until he got that goal in that game against, who was it, where we ended up coming back from 1-0 down and won 2-1. And he scored the winning goal to like basically, it was 13 games he hadn't scored in or something like that, and he fucking nailed the naughty head. And I was like, you fucking slut, get in there. Fucking naughty kid.
So what, you follow the F1 world a lot?
Big news over in the F1 world for anyone who does follow it over there. Obviously, many people might know that Sebastian Vettel has not been re-signed by Ferrari. So he's got
what happened there then?
Basically, he's been there for 6 years and it just never really came to what they wanted it to be. They wanted to sign him and start taking world championships and start really bringing the fight to Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes. But he just never had the car, and they never had his confidence, and he never had their confidence. Do you know what I mean?
Is he not a team player? Like, what's the thing?
Yeah, that is sort of the vibe. Obviously, he won 4 world titles of his own between 2010 and 2014. And then in 2015 or 2016 when he signed with Ferrari. So they were basically banking on this 4-time world champion to get them back in the mixer. And yeah, so he signed, and then as soon as he signed, they got new ownership, new fucking loads of managers, new teams. So he basically got brought into a corporation, told one thing, then it got changed, and he was in another, and he was like, this isn't for me. So it never really worked. And then obviously they brought in Charles Leclerc last season, and he outdid him, and he's like 19 years old. Do you know what I mean? So why would they pay him 20 odd million a year when that's not what he's worth anymore? So yeah, he's got 1 season and then he's out. Pretty much they're saying he's going to retire because he's not the guy to go to a lower team. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you don't know a lot about F1, it's very money based. Do you know what I'm saying? If you've got more money, the car's better. Like, all the cars are actually different. It's not like a football where everything's placed in the game. You know what I mean? So it's very, very car. Obviously, there's a lot of talent as well, but that's only when you're in the upper echelons. Yeah. Like, it only comes down to talent. So I think he's going to be straight out of the sport.
Why is that then? Why is it that only... I've never really understood... Not never understood, but...
Yeah,
these are the things, like, for me as like an outsider looking in the F1 world. Like, how does it work, and what's the
reasoning behind why it's that sort of thing? So it's basically just how the sport runs. Obviously, like, the higher you finish, the more you get paid, like in the Premier League. Yeah. But it's not like a steady scale down. You know, like in the Prem, everyone, they get a bit of a step down. It's like the top 3 teams get so much, and then the rest just nothing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There's such a big gap between them. And that's just due to just the brand names, the sponsorships, everything. You know what I'm saying? How many people have heard of a Ferrari F1 car? Pretty much everyone, because everyone knows you. Same with Mercedes, same with Red Bull, really. Like, if you say them 3 teams, you're going to click in your head. And then you've got your...
Was it Schumacher that rode? Was he Ferrari back in the day?
Exactly. That's another reason why they're so big now as well. You know, bigger names have drove for them. And then you've got your other end of the grid where you're on your Williams and your Force Indias and stuff like that. Like, people just don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I know them because I watch F1 week in, week out, qualies, information, news videos, and I love it. So, obviously, they get small sponsorships, you know what I'm saying? A bright red Ferrari car can put Shell on it. Do you know what I'm saying? Shell is a massive brand. A small little team like Force India, they're getting, do you know what I'm saying? Sport pacer to do who are these? You know what I mean? It's just you need less money as you go down, and obviously the research and development into the car as well.
Engines,
So when you get less money, you can put less.
It's a shame that, isn't it?
So then you get a worse car, so then you keep doing worse. You know what I mean? You can't build it up. So if you get more money, you get a better car and do better, so you get more money. It's like a roll-on effect both ways. So if you're low, you stay low pretty much. And if you're high, you stay high. So that's why every few years they switch up the regulations. If you're the worst car on the grid, you can become the best car by taking advantage of the new regulations. You know what I'm saying? They basically purposely mix it up to change.
How's that working?
So let's say there'll be new front wing laws. So 1 year they might be this, and then the next year you aren't allowed to do that. For example, Seb won his...
So if you design something that's that OP, they'll just ban it? to make it
sort of
broad.
thing.
Oh, right.
To make it sort of level. And this year they brought in a price cap as well for the first time ever, like a budget cap, so you can't overspend.
On your drivers or on your car?
On your car development. So they brought in a budget cap finally.
I think that's probably good.
But that's still too high. Like, it's like 175 million, but some teams only make 50, so you can't even spend the budget cap anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's there, but it's still not enough. There's still a lot more to do. And as I said, like in 2010, Seb won 4 straight world titles. Then in 2014, there was new regs, so they changed from V8s to V6s with a hybrid in it. And that's when, from then, Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes have won every single year since then. Do you know what I mean? So that's how it can change around, how one car can be dominant, and then they'll change the regulations, and then a new car's dominant, and you get your new era of Formula One. So that's basically.
Would you predict another big change coming like that soon, or to stop the Mercedes
regs? Yeah, the new regs are coming in, but it's supposed to be next year. But now with COVID, they've postponed it one more year to get this season over and done with. So next year is the new regulations. That's why there's a new contract movement. So. Daniel Ricciardo has gone to McLaren.
Oh, right. So that's why the drivers are out of contracts.
Yeah, that's
they're like written in contracts that are like when the regulations
pretty
change.
much. So no one wants to sign a contract that keeps them to a team over the reg change, because once the regs change, they want to know who's best and go and sign for them. Do you know what I mean? So they don't want to be caught up in a contract. So that's why they've let him go now, or he's left now, because obviously they don't know where they're going to be. So they've signed Carlos Sainz, so he's moved, who is an unbelievable driver. If anyone knows anything about F1, he's like 26, and he's been there for a while, do you know what I mean? Trying to make waves, trying to make a name for himself, and he's finally got his chance to really show what he's made of. And obviously with someone like a 4-time world champion leaving such a big team, the whole grid is up in arms, you know what I mean? Who's going here? Who's going there? There's rumour mills everywhere. It's a really interesting time. It's like basically the F1 transfer market. Do you know what I mean? There's so much going on. It's so fun to really be a part of. But yeah, that's just what's been going on. I mean, I could talk for F1 about ages because it's so in depth.
No, it's interesting because obviously this is stuff you wouldn't usually know. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's for me, F1's one of my. I like F1 more than I like football. That is just my personal. That's how I've changed over time. But yeah, just want to touch on that because I know a lot of people do like F1. And right now, this is one of the biggest news stories that's happened over the past 5-6 years, really. Since he signed for Ferrari, this is the biggest news story. Now I'm leaving. Do you know what I mean? Just
yeah. So has it been a success since he's been there or not? A massive?
Yeah, so that's the reason why he's pretty much gone. He was supposed to be one of the biggest successes ever. Yeah. And it just sort of never really materialized. For example, every year there's a race in Italy, so obviously you want to win that car. You want to win that race in a Ferrari. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously it's an Italian car, and Seb was racing for them for 5 years and never didn't win it. And then Charles Leclerc in his first season won it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just basically highlighting that he isn't a driver that he was when he won his world titles, and he's sort of a bit past it now. Do you know what I mean?
Why is that? Is it solely down to that regulation change, or?
Well, yeah, and age and the way he is. Him as a driver, he's German, so I mean, so you were talking about racing before, but I mean, you would say that they're pretty abrupt. That's just how they are. So in terms of his teamwork and ability, it's never really been there. He's one of them guys. Like if he does something wrong as well, he gets super wobbled. You know what I'm saying? His head goes dead easy. And that's just been how he's been getting as he's been getting older, you know what I mean? So you do a little bit of a lock-up, you like miss a turn, lose a few seconds. Instead of going, right, head down, I'm going to focus up.
Yeah, and like get the seconds back, he'll just bottle it completely.
Yeah, his head just falls off and he'll spin out and crash and he'll be like, fuck. And so he's just getting old, he's just getting on, you know what I mean? I mean, he's a 4-time world champion and he will go down in F1 history, but he's just not really kept up with that kind of same level of performance.
Yeah.
We're back again. Our 4th little intermission there. But we were going to round things up, but we've got one last little funny story to tell about what has happened to me and Sam personally in over these last 3 weeks. So, I mean, Sam can start it.
Yep. So a few weeks ago, no, probably about a week ago, 2 ago.
Yeah.
We went on a little bike ride
Indeed, we've been doing a few more bike rides recently.
Yeah.
There's a route that some of our mates found, and just sort of we've just been doing that. Sam's shown me around, shown me the route. So we were on the route. Go on.
Yeah, probably. If you had to say, I'd probably say the furthest point on this route from home as well.
Yeah, because it's like a big loop.
More,
it was
it's a big loop.
It's about 20 miles the route, and
yeah.
It's a big loop. So obviously you drive away from your house, you go about that way and then back around. So there were probably further places, but in terms of like in a straight line furthest away. Yeah. It was pretty far anyway. And we're about 20% into the journey.
So we make a right to go up this path, which I had been up before. And then you can either go up this like grass verge on the edge of the curb where there's like a curb missing, or you can just go right and turn left on the road.
Yeah, take a long way around, you know.
And then, do you know, sometimes when you just get caught in two minds and you're like, instead of making a decision about either one,
just go straight.
You just sort of don't do anything.
Yeah.
And I just flew straight into this like curb, and everyone knows that there's thick curbs sometimes, and literally flew into this curb, and I just go flying over the handlebars. But as I'm flying into this curb, I just see the front wheel just buckle before my eyes, literally like a car door in a car crash. That's what it was like.
It was like a cartoon. It was like when you see someone riding a bike and like the wheels go square.
Literally.
So obviously,
then for about 5 minutes we were like, for 5 minutes we were like, oh fuck, what are we gonna do? Like literally, what are we gonna do?
So I was obviously behind Sam because Sam knows the route. So Sam made that first right. And then it was like a verge, but then straight after it, the curb must have been about like a foot tall. I am not even joking. And he just went straight into it. Obviously, I saw him then and stopped and got off my bike and made sure he was okay. But it was so funny because it's only a road bike. Sam was on a road bike. I was on
no front suspension.
So there was no front suspension, and the wheels really skinny, obviously. So with Sam at a big curb, the wheel had no chance. And as I said, they looked so square.
But somehow
it was brilliant.
We managed to get it to I'll
see if I can find a reaction from one of our chats, because I sent a video into our chat and someone put like a little eyes thing saying, "Oh yeah, the front wheel looks all right." And it was just one of them that was just really, really funny. And as we said, it was probably like at a right angle. The wheel it was gone.
Oh,
so obviously stranded about 20% into the journey, probably about 5 miles from home, and a walk over like a big bridge as well over the Mersey River. So there was no way we could walk back, especially how it was. Like you would have had to put the bike on its back wheel the whole way. So I had no idea how we managed to do it. We
just started standing on the wheel.
We just started standing
on the wheel to try and straighten it back out, which worked to an extent.
Mm-hmm. Sam was basically pushing them two sides, and I was pulling them two sides to like arch it back in the right direction.
Yeah.
And there was like as it was like bending back into position, we were bending the metal.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
obviously we didn't get it ridiculously straight. So then the problem was that obviously when you got your two brake pads, if your wheel's straight, it'll just slide right in between them. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if your wheel's like a fucking snake going through your front forks, it's just gonna touch them. So then I had to just take the front brakes off.
Straight up sketch it the rest of the way.
We managed to complete the journey with a wobbly wheel.
Oh, and so there was a part as well. It was about, as I said, around 5 miles in and about 15 miles to go. So obviously we did 15 miles with Sam's bike, how it was. So we actually did what I would like to say quite a good job of fixing it up. But we went up a really steep bridge at one point, and then we were going down the other side. And Sam flew past me. He was fucking giving it beans on his wheel, pedaling so fast. I was like, "Sam, slow down! Your front wheel!" And he was like,
and I just thought, "Oh fuck yeah!"
Well, first of all,
if I came off it would have been like coming off a motorbike.
Yeah, literally, very, very dangerous. I was like, "Sam, slow down!" He was like, "Nah, fuck it, I'm sending it." So I was like, "Your front wheel!" And he was like, "Shit!" And then just slammed on the brakes and slowing himself down. But yeah, it was such a funny bike ride. But oh my god, it was just
in the end.
It was the first time that I had been on this route.
Yeah.
Sam had been a few times with some of our other friends. So obviously, when I said that I was going to go, he was like, "All right, I'll take you around." And he was obviously the tour guide. So it was just the most unfortunate timing for Sam to absolutely ruin his bike. Like, gone.
Didn't help that 5 minutes after work crashed as well on the route. You're going along a canal with no fence next to the water. So I'm riding on this wobbly wheel thinking, shit, I could end up in this water.
One false move and I'm straight in this. And that was pretty much directly afterwards. There's one part where it gets more sketch, like probably for about 500 yards or so. And it was literally directly before that really sketchy part along the canal that Sam's wheel was gone. But as I said, I'd say we got it back to about 97% straightness.
97. I wouldn't go that far.
93.
I'd say like now after me getting it fixed, it's probably 97% straight. I'd probably say it was about 70% straight.
Wow. I mean,
I was riding it, so I probably had a better. It was just like.
It's hard to explain, but if you've ever seen a wheel go around straight, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like you can see it flowing nice. But if you put like alloys on wrong on like a car or something, it almost looks like it's always falling off and always about to fall off. And that's how I felt for like the next 3 hours that it took us to ride around, because I would just look at its wheel and it'd just be like woo 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 woo, just going left and right. I was like, fucking hell, Doyle, that's so scary, man. Going over big rocks and going off road with fucking no suspension and a broken front wheel. It was a funny time, to be fair. Oh, good times.
Good times, though. Good time. That was when the weather was good, anyway.
Yeah, so that's when we
sadly
came up with the idea and found places on this ride to do our podcast, to film it.
Yeah.
Cool little backdrops, in like undisclosed areas. So it would have been nice. And then we planned a date. We were obviously trying to get some sponsors ready for the podcast. We were trying to get some guests ready for the podcast, and it just fell through because of typical English weather.
Yeah, as always.
As always. So, coming towards the end of the podcast today, I would like to say one last thing. Quick announcement. We have another guest for you.
Another guest in the pipeline.
We do indeed. This guest is, again, it has been confirmed, and we're not going to be giving it away, keeping it close to our chest, just like we did last time. However, we would like to stay away from Zoom from now on.
Yeah.
And start doing more of these podcasts in person. So we can't confirm when this guest podcast is going to be, whether it's going to be the next one or whether it'll be in a few episodes' time, because we want to make sure that me and Sam can socially distance, and we want to make sure that our guest is also comfortable with the environment that they're in. So yeah, we've got to follow the guidelines. We've got to make sure everyone's safe and everyone's comfortable. And we want to get the best experience, because we're really just as excited about this guest as we were about our first guest. So, we want to make sure that we do it right this time. And I make sure I don't have any audio issues as well. That's very important. Anything else you'd like to add, Doyle?
No, just hopefully we'll get back to a more regular filming regime.
Yeah.
But thanks for watching. See you in episode 8.
Indeed. Stay safe, socially distance, bitches.
Yeah, stay safe.
Peace out.